Hello people, I'm making this video for the sake of improving your debate presentation. Okay, but I will do it part by part, and you can see here is pretty dark, and the reason why I make it dark because I'm not fully dressed, and that's the reason why. Okay, we go through the video then. This is your horrible video. Alright, so for today I will improve on the team introductions, right? Starting with the Bro team first. Okay, so let's briefly go through what is the topic. The topic is about flexible working hours in our center working our Vietnamese school. So three things I must remind you is either the feasibility, and you have to stay on track, all right, because the situation here is over me, and you have to keep that in mind, looking for a variety of aspects, different departments, which help you to validate your argument more accurately. Okay, so starting with the Bro team.
Okay, so now
you can alright, so you can watch it, but I have few things to summarize here. Okay, so basically for the introduction, you only have 3 minutes maximum to briefly go through what you are going to present and what you have planned out for your argument. So to capture the ongoing debate, that you have to later go in details and give more insights about it, you need to organize your speech and doing it right in front, right in the introduction. Okay, so that is the point that the Bro team got. The Bro team argues that flexible working hours increase employees' relaxation and productivity. Alright, so in terms of clarity of arguments, I think the eye here has given you pretty much generous score. Alright. Although we can see like there are sleeps and people are still reading out from a paper. Relevance. Okay, next will be like relevance and depth of the content. It's 16/20. No, I don't think so, because to me it's more like overlapping arguments that occur pretty much frequently, and we can see like repeatedness and ineffectiveness in the presentation for the introduction only. I haven't mentioned anything else, and later I will explain why with my sample improvement. Alright, so for sample improvement, I still keep your points relevant, but I arrange them into more coherent development, and how I modified it to give a clearer vision to the listener, that they can understand what should be the follow-up next for the debate, for the argument, for detailed argument. Response to oppositions, yeah, of course you haven't touched on to that. Alright, which you should have done. Okay, you should have done an introduction. Okay, because for the debate we always want the opponent team wouldn't have much space to counter argue it. Okay, or there's very limited space for them to refute your argument. Okay, which means like you have to walk in their shoes, knowing what they about to attack you, because you have many days for preparation and you have to think it beforehand. Presentation style 14/20. Okay, yeah, it's true, and it's also a very generous pose for you. Confidence is moderate, but the presentation could be more engaging. All right, because you kind of push back. Right, you have not fully engaged in the conversation, that in the belief or the arguments that you have believed in. So you have to give more confidence out of it. Overall impact 1520 reports are persuasive, but it's more robust backing. No, I don't think so, because to me it lacks depth and details. Everything will surround benefit for workforce only, but to some certain extent, I don't think they are feasible to some individuals or to some departments because the kinds of work or the types of work they are facing and they are pretty much controlled by the managerial positions, right? So they are not totally feasible for them and not applicable, right, for the moment on unless you propose with preparational plans or executive plans that help enable the possibilities. All right, so now we'll go through the improvement. Okay, I have prepared it on my note here. Okay, so I will, as usual, I will start by brief you through implementation of flexible working hours at Open School, of course. Though some adjustments, rigid regulation, and inter-party consensus need to really work out. So here I have the though to see the consensus, right? And on top of that, this scheme by large will possibly be restricted to most managerial positions. Okay, I put like on top of that to the although, right? Though the scheme, I acknowledge it will possibly be restricted to managerial positions only, while other customer-facing posts require a more long-haul adaptation when constant trials and errors approaches may occur. Alright, so then I will set out. Yeah, there are possibilities for other employees working in different departments as well, especially those that are working like customer-facing jobs. Alright, they will see their future later, right? A brighter future later, but not for now. This is okay. That's how I set up. Okay, I will go through everything and I will later address it, the point later, right? Okay, when all of the above arduous steps have been passed, ultimate workforce will look into a brighter future when their work-life balance is managed, when leading into improved relaxation, necessitating improved productivity as well. In our following presentation, we will set out action plans, of course, only briefly, of how executive landscape can be foreseen in a going to be future, and that's why my presentation is going to be like so. Firstly, we will talk about giving you explanations with backup evidences from case studies on why employees who are allowed with autonomy at work can work more effectively with greater productivity. Alright, so that's we will give you evidences with the same field, okay, people working at the same field, the similar kinds of organization, of course. Secondly, we will give real life examples from articles that prove less hour working at physical workplace doesn't mean not effective working, and how employers could actually save costs by squeezing more profit, retaining talent who would totally back them up with loyalty. Okay, and last but not least, we acknowledge some at-hand difficulties while drafting up a brief plan to set out an outlook on how such healthy workplace practices can become a reality in the future to most workers in our educational fields, like the school note with me that we are discussing today. Alright, so that's it. I will bring up some point here for you guys. Okay, so you see how I start out, I would say like I will brief you through the implementation of flexible working hours as our in school. Though, okay, I always have though because so this situation when there are controversial debate topics, even if you are the pro team or you are against team, you always have to walk into the other minds, the opponent's minds. For what? For one thing, that you need to know what they are about to come at you, to have a defense system set up first. Okay, so that's why I set up the defense system first, saying that though adjustment and readjust regulation and inter-party consensus need to really work out in order to bring out this rosy future. Okay. And on top of that, I also acknowledge another thing, that this scheme sounds very lucrative at first. It's only applicable to managerial, which means like people who are managers positions. Why customer facing positions can, wait for a couple of delay, okay, to see this reality happen, for the fact that they have to face the customer at a physical workplace. So I don't think it's possible for them to right away can mess up the schedule and work whenever they want to. That is not possible for our Vietnamese situation at the moment. Okay. All right, and next to it I mentioned, yeah, registered, and I promise giving like a plan, right? Okay. Although I know that there are trials and errors throughout the way, but only when all of the arduous, difficult, challenging steps have been passed, our Vietnamese workforce will look into a rosier future. Okay, and from this moment, I then mentioning the benefit, because okay, so when talking about benefit, you guys only focus on personal benefits. I know that is the top priority that the workforce needs to place on top, so their satisfaction, their benefits as well, how happy they will present themselves at work, will take into consideration. But eventually that happy elements are for the fact that they can work better, they can improve the productivity, the effectiveness, the connection at work between colleges, right? All right, but you haven't touched on that more logically. That's why your argument is not relevant and not coherently developed for that reason. Okay, so that's why I says like I just brought up the individual benefit would be maintaining of work-life balance. Okay, and then our second leading relaxation is also a part of work-life balance. As long as you have work-life balance, you can use your life, okay, the part of life for relaxations, right? That is the part of the word already. That to me it's more like repetitiveness, repetitive. That's why productivity necessitating leading to relaxation and necessitating productivity. All right, so I mentioned leading relaxation because I respect your input. Okay, I have to keep it there. But to me, it's pretty much like overlap with the life part in the work-life balance work. Okay, so then in our following presentation, we'll also set out an action plan, of course only briefly, of the executive landscapes. Okay, So like the action plans, how we can foresee the future, okay, the landscape of flexible working hours. Hence, the presentation going to be suited up following this order. Alright, so that's why I set out the steps, the phases of my presentation, my going to be presentations, right? I divided them into three parts. Okay, so the first part I will explain. I will explain and give my explanation, some backed up evidences from case studies of the same educational organizations. I mean, like same few companies. Um, okay, when and I explain why employees tend to work more effectively and efficiently too when they are allowed with autonomy at work rather than micromanaging. Okay, so here remember one thing: for this introductory part, you only keep it brief and general, because for the detailed part or the the given example part to make believe of the audience will be done later on your actual presentation, which is like how you plan them ahead. Secondly, our real life examples. We will present our real life examples taken from our research on articles that prove less hour presenting at physical workplace doesn't mean not effective working. All right, so that would be a an element that brings surprise factor to the audience. And I also say how employer um, okay, and I will also prove, we will again, so you have to present as a whole team, right? Then we will prove how employers could actually save cost of squeezing more profit by retaining talent as work, who would definitely save their back with unforced event with loyalty. Yeah, that's it. Okay, so then I would like touch onto the business benefit, that they can see, that they can foresee their money coming to actually think about the plans, right? Last but not least, okay, so this is our part, that everything I will set up a defense from it. Okay, last but not least, we also acknowledge, like I said, um, a good debater would be the ones who know how to set out their defense, and they would know to acknowledge the other's strong points, right? So last but not least, we acknowledge some attend difficulties. All right, why drafting of a plan, an action plan to set out an outlook on how such healthy workplace practices can become a reality in a very near future for all the workforce in the field. Okay, so that is like how I'm gonna present in the later part. mm, yeah, I have to consider many factors, right? Like I said, the three parts: details and insights. Okay, I mean, like more detailed and more insightful. Okay, secondly, what in the opponent's shoes, okay, setting up defense. Second, again, thirdly, okay, be systematic and organized. Okay, everything you have to present with care. All right, so that's it for my improvement for the introduction. And you through this very initial video, you can see and you can feel like what we should do in order to put up more competitive presentation. Okay, the ones that show that you really work on the topic and show the coherence and cohesion between your team members. Okay, thank you for listening.